Hey everyone, welcome to today's Cornerstone Connection. My name is Nate Carter. We're going to dig into John chapter 11 here today. So if you'd open your Bibles, we're going to read several parts of it, and we'll kind of dig in and then talk a little bit as we go here. So the situation is there's three siblings. We've got Lazarus, Mary, and Martha. Now Lazarus got very sick and actually now partway through the chapter has died, and we kind of pick up the story as Jesus is going to be with the other two siblings, Mary and Martha, after Lazarus has died. And in verse 21, Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died. If only you had been here, my brother would have not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask." So I want you to see the faith here. Now this is the same Martha that is working to prepare the meal while Jesus is sitting with Mary, his sister, and Martha gets all mad because Mary's not helping out, and it's easy to give Martha a bad rap, but you see here a deep faith and understanding of who Martha is and what she knows about Christ and what he's capable of. If you had been here, he wouldn't have died. I know you could have healed him. I know you could have prevented this. And even now, I know that God will give you whatever you ask. Let's follow the conversation here. Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise again." "Yes," Martha said, "he will rise when everyone else rises at the last day." Now, right here, I love this because Martha gets it. Like she knows her theology, right? And she would do well teaching a Sunday school class. She's a student of the Bible. She's a student of the Messiah. She knows there's going to be a resurrection in one day, but she doesn't see the short term that Jesus can do in the moment. And I guess I can relate to that, and I wonder if you can too. Like, do you ever find yourself almost limited by your own theology, just like, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean that, like, in the end God's going to work it all out, that God's going to create the new heavens and the new earth. There's a better world to come, and yet because of that we don't expect God to do anything in the here and now. And I just want to challenge myself and challenge you along those lines. Going on, Jesus told her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live even after dying. Everyone who lives in me and believes in me will never, ever die." "Do you believe this, Martha?" "Yes, Lord," she told him. "I've always believed you're the Messiah, the Son of God, the one who has come into the world from God." Just right there, Martha she testifies. She gives her conviction, her faith, right there, that she knows that Jesus is the Lord. And then she returned to Mary. And it goes on, and you can read the rest of it. But I want to just challenge you with that one point that I know so many of us, we know our Bible. We know that the Lord is going to be victorious in the end, that one day all the pain and suffering of this world will be gone. But let's not forget that God is still active in our world now. He hasn't abandoned us until later. He hasn't left the world to operate on its own. It's the watchmaker theory. He doesn't wind up the watch and then just leave it to manage itself. No, we believe in a God that is invested in our life, in the here and now. Many years ago, I went through a very difficult and kind of prolonged experience where I was wanting God to move, and I thought that I had gotten this opportunity that I was really excited about. I was looking for a job, and I thought this was it. And ultimately, that didn't pan out, and I don't know why. And because I felt like it was happening, and I remember reflecting back in my journal after that had just happened, and now kind of back on the starting blocks again with my job search. And I wrote in my journal, "Let's see what God will do." Those are the words. I'll never forget them. Let's see what God will do. Because I wanted to trust that even though things seemed hopeless, that God could still work in my world in that moment. And the truth is that it was a while. God didn't bring the next thing along which, by the way, was Cornerstone. But he didn't bring that along for, I think it was 9 months. And so I waited and I journaled and I prayed and I looked, and God didn't come through for a while, but he did ultimately come through in a really wonderful way. And so I wonder if you need to hear those words today, just like Martha needed to hear and like I needed to hear those years ago, that let's see what God will do. Let's claim that our God is still active in our world, and let's see what he will do. As you know, in this story, you can read it for yourself. Lazarus is going to be raised from the dead. And so let's see what God did. He raised Lazarus from the dead. And it was a foretaste of what he was about to do very soon afterward, and being raised from the dead himself. But in your own world, let's claim that God is active, and let's see what God will do. See you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.